Hey guys, I'm Dimension Jump, and today I'm doing my top 5 villains that I would like to see in Insomniac Spider-Man 3. Now, it's been a year since the second game has been released, and I have played it quite recently, and I think the game is a lot of fun, and I do enjoy a lot of the things that the game has to offer. There are some stuff, however, that I think the game could have done a bit better when it came to like stuff like the bases and some of the missions here and there that you can do as either Spider-Man or as either Peter or Miles. But overall, I think the game as a whole is quite fun, and I think it does a good job of setting up the third game. And when it does release, there could be some villains that we haven't seen yet from Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery, or we might have seen throughout either the first game or the second game, that could appear in the third game. So yeah. So for number 5 is Beetle. Now Beetle is a guy who makes this sort of like Beetle armor, and I think if Beetle is in the game, I would like to see him be a sort of like mercenary type character, similar to how Taskmaster was in the first game. But I feel like they could bring Taskmaster back as well, so they could like sort of like team up together and try and fight Spider-Man or the Spider-Men. And yeah, because with Beetle, it's basically a guy in a suit that's basically like a bug, like this flying beetle guy with laser things or something. And yeah, and it would be cool to see, like, this could be like, let's say, because this game is setting up, or these two games are setting up Norman to be the Green Goblin. Maybe there could be a part in the game where Norman's taken over by the Goblin, and he hires Beetle to be a mercenary for him to try and stop both Peter and Miles. Maybe it's at first the Goblin sends enemies to the Spider-Man, but then later on we have to fight the Goblin himself when he's run out of mercenaries or whatever the likes. So yeah, I think Beetle could potentially be in the game. So yeah. For number 4 is Carnage. Now Carnage, it was mentioned a bit, or kind of in the second game, because throughout the course of the game, I think since the start of the game towards the and then till the end, we had heard about this guy called the Flame, who was like the leader of this cult, and we then later find out, oh, he's Cletus Cassidy, who becomes Carnage in the comics, and in the Venom sequel, Let There Be Carnage. And yeah, it'd be cool to see Carnage, and I think obviously that there was going to be DLC for Spider-Man 2, and I think Carnage was going to be one of them. But then the whole leak happened around Spider-Man 2, so there was no longer going to be DLC for that game. So there could potentially be a Carnage storyline in the third game, where we have to fight Carnage in the game, and he kind of goes crazy or something, or he might be trapped by Oscorp or by Norman or whoever, and he's been given an order to try and stop the Spider-Man, but he doesn't, and he does his own thing, and he wreaks, as his name implies, carnage around New York. And yeah, I could potentially see Carnage appear in the third game. So yeah. For number 3 is the Chameleon. Now the Chameleon has been referenced in both games, in the first game and in the second game, because in the first game there was a mission where where there's this fake Spider-Man who is pretending to be the real one, and Peter does say that it could be the Chameleon again. So yeah, that could be cool. But then he finds out it was a fake Spider-Man. And then in the second game, there was a mission where you have to find all these flying bird drones, and then you'll later find out that, oh, all the drones have been trying to find the Chameleon. And you do see the Chameleon at the end of that mission. So yeah, so him appearing in the third game could be interesting, and he could try and avenge the spider, or avenge Craven, because in the game, Craven and the Chameleon are brothers. So the Chameleon could try and take his revenge on the Spider-Man and both Miles and Peter by pretending to be their friends or their family or whoever, so that he can try and take his revenge or something like that. So, yeah. For number 2 is Hydroman. Now, Hydroman is kind of I feel like is probably the more weird one on this list potentially, because Hydroman, I believe in the comics, and I think there was also a throwaway reference in Spider-Man Far From Home, in which his origin is that he's a guy, I think he's some sort of marine guy who got electrocuted underwater by a power thing or something, or something that was experimented on or something, and he became Hydroman. So this could be like a sort of like first story mission sort of thing, similar to how both Miles and Peter fought the Sandman at the start of the second game. So yeah, this could be a sort of like first sort of mission thing where Norman could have got experiments on people, and one of them turned into Hydroman, and this could be just like the first mission where the Hydroman escapes and sort of goes similar to the how the Sandman fight happened in the second game, where Hydroman is just could go on like a rampage across the river around, or the river around Manhattan or something like that. So yeah, and for number 1 is the Hobgoblin. Now, I feel like if they are going to bring in the Hobgoblin into the game, this could be a sort of like DLC sort of thing, where similar to how you have like the DLCs in the second game, in the first game, where you have Hammerhead, and you hear about Hammerhead, and he gets more and more powerful throughout the course of the DLC. And this could go in a similar way with the Hobgoblin, in that after the Green Goblin has been defeated, we hear about this guy who's been collecting Green Goblin gear and weapons and stuff like that, and we hear that it's the Hobgoblin. So it's up to us to try and find out who he is, what his plans could be, and try and stop him. And throughout the DLCs, it could be 3 episodes, like The City That Never Sleeps, but this time it's with the Hobgoblin, and then within each DLC he gets stronger and stronger and stronger, and then you have to fight him at the end, and then he's defeated. So yeah, I feel like with the Hobgoblin, he does feel like DLC material, maybe, or maybe end game material once you've defeated the Green Goblin, and you can just do any of the remaining stuff. So yeah, that could potentially be one of the cases. So yeah, so that's been my top 5 villains that could appear in Insomniac Spider-Man 2. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.